What's up everybody, it's Extreme Collects, and today we're going to be reviewing Shfiguarts Daima Vegeta. Now the packaging is the usual for Shfiguarts, nothing different, except they did make a very nice purple color on the boxing for the name, which I really like. But yeah, without further ado, let's pull the figure out. It's always satisfying to pull a figure out its tray, I'm not gonna lie. Like, as y'all can see, you actually get a very wide range of accessories. And I like that they're kind of making it a standard thing in the Dragon Ball line for the figures to come with a personal accessory or a swoop hair accessory. I think this is a step in the right direction while they're also not changing the price curve. So good on Shfiguarts for that. But yeah, as you can see, the figure looks amazing. The sculpting is very good, the details are there, the muscles are sculpted well, and everything just looks realistic and cartoony at the same time. Even the hair just looks so accurate while being minimalistic. But one gripe that I have heard is the lack of paint, which I wanted to defend so hard, but it's really a kind of annoying stylistic choice. Like, obviously a $34 figure isn't that expensive, but we've seen them do higher quality than that. Now, I do heavily disagree with people saying he looks just like the Evolve figure. That's definitely not true, but I can get the cadence. Now, I personally think this figure looks amazing even without being overly painted, and that the Evolve comparison is a bit forced since I have both figures and I can compare them and see that they look very different. But yeah, overall the sculpting is amazing. They did the paint where they needed to and they didn't do it where they didn't need to. And I just love the way this figure looks. Now let's do a quick skim over his accessories. Vegeta comes with 2 wide Ki Blast hands, 2 fighting stance hands, 2 composed Ki Blast hands, 2 gripping hands, 2 fisted hands which come on the figure as default, arm crossed, a wind blowing hair accessory which is probably my favorite. He has a neutral faceplate that comes on the figure. It comes with a smirking face, a gritted teeth face with a side eye, and then a yelling face. Alright, now let's look at his insane articulation. He can move his head down all the way, not so much with up, but it's still pretty good. Gets full circular motion, obviously. Amazing pivot on the head. Like, you can get crazy tilts out of it. His arms can actually go slightly higher than this, but that's just the best I could get it to look right here. His torso is actually squishy, so his arms can go insanely far back and inwards. These clips aren't even his full potential at all. Obviously, he has a full 360 swivel and a double joint to elbow with full pivot on his wrist. Another gripe with this figure, they did sacrifice looks for articulation in a lot of areas, and this is one of them, unfortunately. But I won't say it wasn't completely worth it. Do you see how insanely far back I can get this figure to go? And that's not even the max. I can push it even further. He's almost split in half, and he's still perfectly fine. He can lean forward an insane amount with his ab crunch, and if you pair it with his hip movement and everything else, you can get insane range off of this figure. He has double jointed knees unlike most of the Daima figures, which is nice. And he can just kick, bro. There's no limits. You can just twist it fully around, it'll be fine. You can do the splits. Not only is this a completely new mold they made specifically for articulation, but they also just optimized it perfectly to hit any pose that you want. Not only is the chest piece soft so that you can pull your arms in or as far back as you want, they also added a soft diaper piece so that your legs can go wherever you want them to. This most likely isn't a hot take, but this is probably the most articulated Vegeta we've ever gotten to this date, and one of the best looking. But yeah, let's head on to some size comparisons. This figure is approximately 5.5 inches tall, meaning not only did they go to a more lore accurate height for him, but he also scales better with Final Form Frieza now, who's probably a 5.2 inch figure. Sorry for this angle, but here's him next to Dragon Ball Super Superhero Vegeta's body with Trunks' head on it. As you can see, they made him way more lore accurate in size. Here's how he scales with Dragon Ball Evolve figures. This actually helps them fit in way more with your display because it's harder to tell now when in more dynamic poses that they're different figure companies. But yeah, everybody, that's my review for SH Figuarts Daima Vegeta. This is easily the most articulated Vegeta figure that ever released to this date, and he's a budget release, having a pretty good spread of accessories. Obviously, he's not flawless. He tends to have gaps when using his articulation, and he doesn't have that much paint. But overall, for one of the last figures to have the standard budget release price of 35 instead of 38, this is an insanely worthy purchase. You can find this figure at the Bandai Tamashii Nations website, Amazon, eBay, and obviously in local stores like Target and Walmart. But yeah, Extreme Collects out. Peace.